All right, this is Scott Burke with Final Expense Contracting. I'm here today interviewing an agent who is one of the top agents in the country in 2017 and probably for 2018. His name is Jose Arteaga. And Jose, you on there?
Hey, how's it going, Scott?
Going great. I'm glad you
got
time.
That last name pronunciation well.
I messed it up for about a year, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a good friend of yours, another agent, straightened me out on that. He said, "You're butchering his name." I try not to do that, but I do that with a lot of names. But glad you took the time to talk with us today, and we'll try to cover some things that let people get to know you and learn how you work and what makes you so successful. You're in a rare group of guys that I've seen through the years that every once in a while a new guy kind of pops up. People think he's an overnight success. They don't realize he's been at it a few years, and he does so well that people don't believe that he did what he did. So you gotta be kind of proud when you've achieved something that people don't think can be done. But you've been doing it. Let's kind of just start with your background a little bit. What state are you working in?
I work in Arizona.
And is that where you've lived your whole life?
No. I'm originally from California. I live there. I just moved out here maybe 6-7 years ago, and met my wife here and all that. She's rooted here, so just decided to stay.
What age of a guy are you, Jose?
37.
37. You're still a young one. And you've got a wife and 2 kids, is that right?
I got 3 now. I had one last August. Yep. So I've got 3. I've got 6-year-old, 4-year-old, and a little baby girl.
That's great. Okay, so you've been in Arizona about 6 years, and what'd you do? Have you had sales jobs prior to getting into Final Expense, or what's your background?
I did. I have I sold motorcycles before.
I didn't know that.
After that, I sold off-road vehicles and street bikes, cruisers, all that. That was like 19, 20, something like that. Also, I sold loans. I was a loan originator for a while. I sold real estate. And then after 2008, well, that dried up, so kind of took a break on that and did other work. Finally, I heard about insurance, that it was a good job to have, and so I got into this.
Yeah, I kind of had that same background in selling the motorcycles, and people always joke that's pretty normal progression to go from selling death machines to selling life insurance.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, as far as your previous sales jobs, sounds like most of the jobs you've had in the past were based in sales. Would you say you were a standout in those sales careers, or were you struggling with them, or average, or how'd you do with those?
I did really well. Actually, on the motorcycle sales, I was always one of the top guys. It just I don't know, it just happened. Then I met Jeff, my partner Jeff Hall. We actually met him. I've known Jeff for about 12, 15 years, something like that. We've been working together. And it was a mortgage company. We did loan origination there and things like that. And I saw an ad in the paper. I was fresh out of a job, and it said no experience necessary. So I said, that's me. So I showed up, and I met Jeff there, and he was managing the place. I think he sold, and he did really well. And then because of his, background, things like that, they put him in. He was running a manager position there, and it was me and about 10 other guys. We just started there, and they were training us, and as weeks went by, some would drop off, and some others would drop off, and finally there was probably 2 or 3 left from the original ones that started. So I just kind of took all the training that they gave me, and soon enough I was top of that board.
That's good. Just did well. The reason I asked that question, I had an agent talking to me this week that had done well with mortgage insurance, selling mortgage term, and he's just wanting to move into final expense, and he seemed concerned about whether he could be successful at final expense, but he'd been successful at mortgage term. So I always, in my mind, if you've been selling anything, like if you sold cars or motorcycles or anything, and you were one of the good salespeople, you can always tell, who does well every month and who scrapes by. If you've done well in sales with any product, then normally you're going to do well with final expense or any other type of sales. If you were the worst guy in the car lot every month and couldn't make a sale, well, more than likely you're not going to do very well with final expense either. I always think success with any sales background transfers to this easily, because it's not really about product knowledge. You have to have some of that, but really what makes an agent successful is if he can communicate to people, if he comes across trustworthy and honest and listens to their questions and doesn't talk over them and that kind of stuff. If you got those skills, which if you've had success selling anything, you do, then when you come to this, it's just a matter of learning the product knowledge with this and you take off. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I will say that if you do what the guy that's doing it tells you, and you just mimic exactly what he's doing, you'll be successful. Because I didn't know a lick about loans or mortgages or anything, but I absorbed everything that I was taught, and I just did it the way they told me. I was a blank slate, and just that works out. That's what works. You just have to copy what the guy that's doing it is doing, and not pretend that your idea that you heard 5 years ago from another sales position that really worked is going to work in this. So they're different arenas, and if you learn how that one is played, you will do well.
Yeah, it's funny how you see so many times somebody new will come into this, and they'll be surrounded with guys like you and others that share how you work and what's working for you, and it's laid out there for them. It's not like the old days where everybody's just trying to figure stuff out. It's laid out. Almost all the successful guys do it basically the same way, and it's just a matter of listening to them and learning. But they'll just have wild ideas about some crazy type of lead they're going to generate themselves or some approach they're going to have, and they're not following what you guys are successful doing, where the guys that just jump in like you're saying you did and just copy the guys that are already successful, that's, and let them help you, mentor you, then you can't help but win with this.
Right. I absolutely agree.
Okay, so you hooked up with Jeff at the mortgage place. I know, did Jeff jump into final expense first, or did you do it at the same time? How did that go?
He did jump in a little before me. When 2008 market kind of went downhill, we took a break. He did some other stuff. I did some other stuff. I was managing a warehouse and things like that. But then we were always talking, what should we do next? I don't know, just bouncing ideas back and forth. We considered a few others. And finally, he said, I think the insurance is going to work. I'll let you know how it's going. And so he jumped in first, probably about 6 months ahead of me. And he said, yeah, it's going to work. Go get your license. So there I go.
Whenever you first heard about renewals, have you ever had renewals in any other type of sales?
No.
That was the first thing that just blew my mind with insurance, was when you make a sale, you're going to get paid on it today, and you're going to get paid on it 10 years from now also. It just keeps coming. And I thought, what in the world? They're going to keep paying us money for 10 years or forever? I couldn't believe the attraction for people in any type of a sales job. To me, insurance having renewals is it's an automatic increase in your pay every year. And that jumping from motorcycles to this, That excited me. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So once
that was a good thing about it.
Yeah, it's an attractive part of insurance. So once you and Jeff got going, now Jeff's in a whole different state from you now, right? Were you guys together when you first got going in insurance, or were you both? He's in California, you're in Arizona.
Yeah, we just always been in. Well, not always. When I moved out here, I stayed in Arizona. He stayed in California. So he started 6 months ahead of me in insurance, but he was in California.
Okay.
I started. I took my test and all that in Arizona.
So a lot of things you had to figure out for yourself. You didn't have a guy daily taking you out, field training you, all that kind of stuff.
No, I didn't. I never done a ride along or anything like that. Jeff sent me a few videos. I got the JD audio video, the Travis audio, the videos that are you just listen to while you're driving.
Yep.
And the Tim Winters one, and I kept listening to those and over, and that's where I got my training.
Well, we were due for another one. Those were 3 real milestone videos that we put out there, but that JD one is probably close to 10 years old now, and Travis was right behind that, and Tim Winters is probably a 5-year-old video. So next year I'll have somebody mention, well, I listened to that Jose Arteaga video, and that made me get in this business.
Yeah. And then, Jeff, if I had any questions, things like that, he'd help me out a little bit. But initially, to start, that was all the training that I took.
Okay, so let's see. What year was it when you first started with the Final Expense? Was that just 3 years ago?
Just about. I think maybe a few months shy of that. Yeah.
So in 2015, probably.
Yep. July, I believe.
Okay. And then when you first got in, what did you sell? Did you have just a couple companies, or what did you start off with?
Well, I had Transamerica, I had Oxford, SNL, I had Gerber, and I know I'm leaving with Foresters, Royal Neighbors. That's what I started with.
You had a mix.
Yeah.
And how difficult was it for you in the beginning there? The first obstacle that new agents usually have is trying to figure out what's the difference in all these companies. Why would I write this one on this case and that one on that case? Did you take to one company initially and kind of just go with that, or did you? How'd you go about solving that problem?
Well, also had Americo. Forgot about that. It's just my style. I always gave the customer the best price I can give them. So whoever that company was, that's who I would use.
And the tool you use for that's probably FEX quotes to pull that up, right?
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how much of a struggle was it for you when you first jumped in? I'm wanting to kind of make this educational for brand new agents. They just got their license. They've not sold a policy yet. And everybody initially thinks they can pull up FEX quotes, and whoever shows up the cheapest, well, why wouldn't I write everybody with them? But then you start figuring out there's different underwriting with these companies. So was that hard to learn, or did you take to it pretty quick?
I've always been kind of hands-on, so I learned as I went. But when I was with the customer and I was assessing their health and things like that, I had the cheat sheet to go look at. If they had COPD, which companies would take them, and all the different conditions. And if there was a condition I wasn't sure about, I bounce off Jeff, say, hey, what is lupus? Or not what is lupus, but who takes that? Things like that. But for the most part, it was in the cheat sheet, and from the ones that I knew would take it, that's what I would propose to the customer.
Yeah, and I would consider you a true expert now at knowing your companies. When you run into any health situation, you pretty much know right off the bat, okay, I'm going with this company. But how long from when you started till you felt real confident with that?
Well, maybe about 6 months. But I felt comfortable probably 2 months. And just because I had that cheat sheet, and I'd get better at looking through it quickly. And so instead of spending 5 minutes trying to figure out where this condition is, I go to it quicker.
Yeah.
So that just gave me more confidence when I was there, and just being able to look it up quickly. But then about 6 months later, you keep remembering the same conditions over and over. It seems the same ones we're running into every day. COPD,
Right.
insulin, overweight, things like that. So
some of them become
remember
the staples. Then
yeah.
you run into lupus or something that's less common, and it does throw you a curve. That's where those cheat sheets come in real handy.
Yep.
That's why we make those things. It's really what brand new agents like. It seems like when a brand new guy comes to this industry, that's one of the things he struggles with the most is the underwriting, and that's why it's real important to have, somebody like you that they can go to that's already been there and done that. You know the answers to this. So, like when you have agents, I know you guys are just getting your agency going. You just got a few agents so far, but when you're training a new agent like that, how accessible are you to those agents? Can they just shoot you a text when they're out in the home and expect a real quick response?
Absolutely. We have a group text that whoever can answer that question the fastest, normally, within seconds or a couple minutes at the most, you'll get an answer on that.
And it's not always just you and Jeff answering it. It can even be other agents. Once an agent gets a little experience, it seems like everybody likes to help each other, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we're all together, so whoever knows the answer can shoot the answer in. It doesn't matter. Whoever gets to it quickest.
Okay. Now, with what you did this year, you wrote. Let me get back to my notes here because I don't want to butcher it like I used to do your name. Let's see. You wrote $309,736. So basically $310,000 last year in final expense. Now, that's amazing in itself, but the thing that makes people hard to believe those numbers, because they've been done before, but I don't know if anybody's ever done them before with just your number of leads. How many leads do you work a week?
I work 20 leads a week.
And what kind of leads you working?
The expense RGI leads.
Direct mail. I'm asking questions that I already know the answer to, so I might be throwing you off. But I just want people listening to know you're not running telemarketed leads or internet leads or door knocking or anything like that. You're doing direct mail leads.
Direct mail. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, direct mail leads. All last year I took 20 leads a week. In fact, I took 900, a total of, from January 1st, 2017 to January 1st, 2018, I took a total of 990 leads.
990 leads for the whole year. And that turns, let's figure what that expense would have been for you. 990 leads would be $27,225 that you spent for the whole year on leads. And so you turn $27,000 into $309,000 in production, and your contracts on average are about $115, $120 when you were writing that business. That's what you started at, and that's what new agents start at. So that's a good return on that money. Whenever agents come in and they hear numbers like you got to spend $600 a week on leads or whatever number you're telling them they got to spend on leads, at first they just can't see how they could ever afford to do that. Did you have any fear of jumping in and buying leads every week when you first got started?
No. Because I'm always kind of like the cup half full kind of guy. I'm an optimist about everything. So if you're spending $600 a week on leads, 630, whatever it is, and you got 20 leads, if you just sell one $50 policy, you know, you paid for your leads. Everything else is money in your pocket. So I thought it was too easy, too good to be true. That the fear factor never really.
You had the opposite thought that some of these guys that are afraid to jump in have. They're worrying about, you know, I got to pay $600, and what if I don't sell anything? I lost $600. You were thinking, I'm paying $600, and I write one case, and I've made that back. That's the right attitude right there.
Yeah, you can't go in it going in like that. If you have that kind of mentality, it's going to show. You shouldn't have that to begin with. You should believe in yourself. If you, you know, so long as you're a nice person, you know, presentable guy, people are going to like you. You're going to do fine, and you have a good script. The script will sell itself. As long as they like you, you're fine. There's no reason why you shouldn't sell. And like I said, just thinking one policy pays for those leads, there was really small margin of failure the way I saw it.
Yeah, you know, you remind me, when I was out in the field running my own leads, and back then we didn't have the set price leads. We paid price per thousand, and we'd pay like around $400 to do a mail drop, and we might get 20 leads back then out of it. Lead returns were better. But I remember I'd always take my clipboard out when I got my leads in, and I would always mentally note when I made my first sale off that clipboard, my costs are covered, and everything left on this clipboard is my profit. And I just remember always making a mental note of that. Once I made my first sale, and you know, if it's an average sale, about $50 or so, you've covered your costs, and that whole clipboard is full of profit. That's kind of the same way you're looking at it. It's just that you have a different lead system than we did back then.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the structure, because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that still don't believe you can write $309,000 in a year buying 20 leads a week. Some of these guys have been told to buy 50 and 60 leads a week, and you know, some of them are running crazy telemarketing leads and all kinds of different leads. So how do you structure your week to stay busy all week with just those 20 leads and write those kind of numbers? Do you set appointments, or do you door knock them, or what do you do there?
Well, so I get my 20 leads on probably Thursday or Friday and print them out. And I don't use, like, I guess it's, you know, the map apps that people use to tell them what leads or in what area that they input all their information in. I forgot what it's called, but
Base.
Spodio or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Spodio and Base.
Yeah, I don't use that. I just put like a little map on the corner. It's a real simple one, but I put a dot where that leads. I look up the address and I put a dot where it's at. And it's a real simple kind of tells me where that lead is located in general. Pretty accurate.
Hold on a minute. When you say you're looking it up, are you looking it up on your computer, or are you talking about on a physical map?
No, I get my leads. I go to Google Maps on my phone, and I hit the little speaker, and I'll say the address, you know, 2323 Ohio, you know, Boulevard, 85021 or whatever. And then the map will come up, and it'll tell me the pin where it's at. So I kind of outline the freeway. I already know where that's at, and I put the dot where the house is. So when I'm out in the field, at a glance, I can quickly look. Like if I get no-showed, I'll look real quick in the ones that didn't have a number that are right next to me, and I'll go hit those. But anyway, so I do that to all my leads, and then I set my appointment. I set appointments Saturday morning. Some people start at 9. Nick Frumpkin mentioned that he started at 9, so I started starting at 9, and it seems to be working. 9 and 11 are good times for me. So I call. First, I put them in order, kind of those dots, like where I want to start. Like I group those dots from those 20 leads. So, and I'll try to call in that. It doesn't always happen that way, but I try to at least. And then I'll start calling. I'll call through all 20 leads. If they answer, and if there was no answer, I put a date. and that's it, and I move on to the next lead. I just put a date if they don't answer. If they answer, I'll set an appointment, or for some reason they couldn't meet, and I think that it's a good lead, or for some reason they couldn't lead and I bought their story, I'll put a call next week or something like that on it, so I don't call them again when I start again from the top, because people get annoyed if you double call them once they talk to you once. So I make a note of that. But I continue to call. Once I finish those 20 first leads, I just keep going. There's the 20 from last week are still behind it. Whoever didn't answer last week, I just keep going through those, keep going. I'll call about like one sitting. I'll do 30, 40 calls. And if that ain't giving me my 7 appointments, I might stop and take a break and then try it again at 11. So that's at 9. And if I didn't get
let me clarify one thing. Let me clarify one thing. I'm not sure I understood. So say you've got your 20 new leads this week, and you call through those 20, and how many appointments are you shooting for?
7.
7, okay, 7 appointments. Let's say you called through your 20 and you got 4 appointments. So do you recall those new 20, or are you moving on to last week's older leads and calling from there?
I move on to last week's on that sitting. I will recall through those first 20, but not yet.
Okay.
I'll try to just keep going, about 30 or 40.
Okay, now your stack has to just keep building up every week of people you never got in front of, never got a hold of. That stack has to keep getting thicker and thicker. When do you eventually get rid of any of that stack?
Well, eventually when it becomes too big for my clipboard, then I'll take the back half off and keep building on top of what I left. You know what I mean? I take that back half off and just set it in a pile, and I don't know, I'll get to them someday, hopefully. But I've got way too many leads to.
If I went to your clipboard today and I looked through there, what would be the oldest lead that I would find in that clipboard that you're mixing with your brand new ones?
Oh heck. Probably a year and a half.
That old, really?
Maybe. Yeah.
That's kind of what I did, but I always saw that as a problem that I had, that I wouldn't up on those old leads. So you're working efficiently, because you wouldn't be doing the numbers you're doing, but that surprises me that you're still working that old lead mixed in with your new ones.
But, and I haven't learned how to manage this yet, but I never get to the bottom half of that clipboard. I never get to the bottom half of that clipboard. Maybe I'll call 100, and I'll get my 7 out of there. So there's still another 100, 200 leads on that clipboard that I never touch. I just never get to. So I may have them in the clipboard, but I haven't called them since probably the month
Okay, let's say you're calling through your clipboard, and you reach one of them that just gives you attitude on the phone. They don't set an appointment with you. We didn't want anything. Take us off your list, whatever they say to you. Do you pitch it at that point, or do you put it in a drop-by file or anything like that?
Well, at first, I would just write PV, pay visit, and I put it on the side on a different clipboard. And, sometime when I'm in the area, I try to door knock it. And I would, and I did. But I've kind of developed a little bit, I'd like to say, what that thing JD talks about, that's the bullshit meter. So, the BS meter. Yeah. So, I've gotten okay at it where I kind of know if they're going to be, if I don't think there's a possibility, I'll throw it away. I ain't hanging on to it. There's no point. But if they just get on the phone and, I don't remember that, or I already have something, or something like that, then I'll just put it in my pay visit pile anyway. And I try to get to it when I'm in the area sometime.
So you just door knock.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
That's what I always found. I always felt like I was the extreme inefficiency worker, and maybe guys like JD and Travis, the way they talk is almost too efficient to me, where they get any friction at all, they just pitch it, throw the lead away. But I worked them way too long, probably longer than what you're doing. But I just didn't know what is the point where you just want to give up and move on to your newest stuff. But I think it's important, and you're probably doing this, to keep your freshest leads. You want to hit them the hardest each week. Like your 20 new ones, you want to hit them absolutely the hardest rather than working a year-old lead, I would think, wouldn't you?
Right. And I can't say I get to the year-old leads when I'm sitting there making appointments. I probably get the furthest down 2, maybe 3-month-old leads at the most, and I'll have my 7. I don't go. It never gets that far. So
yeah,
I don't know what
it's really important.
They're just there.
It's really important to have a big stash of old leads that you never did anything with, because no matter what kind of lead system you're on, every once in a while there just come up a week where you have too few leads. We get that. We haven't had much problem with getting new leads, but every once in a while we'll have an agent gets his full order every week, and then all of a sudden he'll have a couple-week period where he only gets like 5 leads. And that's where that shoebox of those older leads is important to have.
Right.
It's
Yep.
good to have them. Okay, so you're calling on Saturday morning, setting appointments for Monday. You're trying to get, would you say 6 or 7 appointments for Monday?
7. I set my
7
appointments every hour and a half. Yeah.
Hour and a half.
Because my area is so wide. So
yeah,
vast.
you're working. It's unusual where you work because it's one county. You're only working one county, but that is a huge, big old county. And I had the opportunity to go out there and drive around on one of those conventions, and that thing, it never ends. There's a lot of space between those little cities out there. But,
yeah.
So you're setting out Monday morning. What time do you get your start?
9. So I set my first appointment at 9, and then 10:30, and then 12, 1:30, 3 o'clock, 4:30, and 6. 6 is my latest. Now, if all they do, they get off of work at 6 or something like that, and they told me that, I'm like, well, I have a 7, and that's the only exception I'll make. I might throw a 7 in there, here and there, but not too often.
And you've tried to set your appointments where they're kind of optimized on your map routing, but that doesn't always go perfect either. Sometimes you're zigzagging a little bit. But do you find it pretty much works its way out? Because if you get into an appointment where you have a husband and wife and you make a sale and you're doing the apps, you're doing the phone interviews, and the drive time to get to them and to the next one and all that, it's going to take, on some of these successful appointments, it's going to take more than an hour and a half. So does that seem to be enough time? Does it work itself out? How do you keep on track?
Sometimes I show up to an appointment half an hour late, and that's okay. But if I got out of a house and it's already time for the next appointment, I may call, I typically will call that lead and say, hey, my appointment ran long. I got held up. I'll have to call you to reschedule. I apologize. I kind of leave it open-ended so that I can go back even if I don't call. Kind of like I'll fit you in just as soon as I can, something like that. Terribly sorry, but I will get a hold of you. We will get it done, I promise. Something like that. And it makes me happy. They're okay, and then I'm back on schedule.
So you, rather than run your whole day late, you skip the next appointment just to make that one the only one that could possibly be mad that you didn't show up, and then the rest of them you're back on schedule again. That's what you're saying, right?
I will. Yes.
Okay. And then how does that work out? How successful is that at getting back with those ones that you had to postpone? Do they get back on the schedule, or do they tell you to forget it, or how do they usually go?
Well, those I just kind of I see the time because the beauty of setting your own appointments, or part of the benefit, is that you get a feel for their schedule a little bit. If they're just always home, they're retired, they ain't going nowhere, then I will just kind of put them in my schedule for the next time I'm in the field, which is probably that Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll just door knock it, so to speak. I'll say, hey, I was able to squeeze you in right now, all right? I'm the guy that called you the other day. I'll try to set it around the same time it was last time. And normally that's okay. It's just fine.
Now,
it's no big deal.
When you set your times, are you setting exact times, or are you doing kind of like the cable guy, I'll be there sometime between 10 and noon, or what do you tell them?
I started doing that about 6 months ago. I say you know, Monday around 1:30, or Monday around noon, Monday around 10:30 work for you? You know, something like that. And I just threw around in there, around, so that buys me a little bit, 15 minutes late, 15 minutes early.
Yeah. And most people don't get mad if you show up quite a bit early, do they? If you're an hour and a half early.
No, they don't
you
care.
just go ahead and do it, don't you? You're running ahead.
Yep.
Okay, so the way that you get ahead is when you get a no-show or when you get in a house. How long are you in a house if it doesn't seem to be going well? How quick is it to recognize and move on?
Probably 20 minutes. Something like that.
You're just in and out pretty quick, and that's usually either if they're not cooperating at all, they're not buying into the whole sales process, or if you assess that they are just not going to buy anything.
Yeah. If I get some sort of sense that this is going south, I kind of try to get their, you know, well, why'd you mail it in, you know? What was your reason? I try to get their reason, and if there's no real reason, just, you know, like JD says, no why, no buy, I dig a little bit more, I try to feel for it, but if there's nothing, there's nothing. I pick up and go. I just write my phone number on the lead card. I print out, you know, every lead is on its own page. So I write my phone number on there, say, well, here you go, give me a call, change your mind or want to talk about it some more. And
what's your process for getting their reason? How do you go about getting them to give you a reason?
Well, I ask them. I tell them why most people send it in.
Like the three reasons.
Yeah, I give the three reasons why most people send it in, and then I say, well, you know, what was the main reason you sent it in? You sent, you know.
Yeah, that's
what
real
was your
popular.
main reason to send this card in?
That's real popular with our agents. That's something Travis has taught for years, and I used to, when I was out on my own, I didn't do that. I would just show up and just start talking, and I didn't give them that. And it seemed like I got a whole lot more of, well, I want to think about it. I just wanted to see what it was. You got a whole lot of that. Where by having that structure, those three reasons, and I assume that's what you were doing,
Yep.
You're telling them, you know, did you send it in because you don't have anything in place or this or this? You give them the three reasons, and then it kind of puts their mind there where, yeah, I don't have any insurance, or I have some, but I want to see if there's a better price. You know, they give you a reason that you can work with rather than just saying, well, I just want to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
sometimes if they're...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying you go ahead.
All right. And sometimes if they... I can read people pretty good, I think. So at this point, I go with my gut. If they didn't want to kind of give me a reason, they're just kind of hearing me out, and they didn't give me a reason, I'll double check. I'll ask them, and I'll say, you know, so let me ask you, Ms. Smith, are you currently paying on anything right now in type of insurance, funeral service, something like that? Are you paying on currently? And then that'll open it up. Well, yeah, I do pay this or pay on that or whatever. Or no, I don't. If they don't, then okay, so that's probably a reason, huh? And they'll agree with you, and then you move on.
Okay. So you're out there Monday. You've got your 7 appointments. You're hitting them all. At the end of the day on Monday, on average, what have you usually written by Monday evening?
By Monday evening, well,
I guess part of what I'm asking is Monday most weeks, is that like, say if you're in the field 3 days a week, are you writing about the same amount each day in the field, or is Monday always your best day?
About the same amount in the field, but Monday is going to determine how the rest of my week goes. So last year, I don't know if I got more efficient now or something, but last year I'd work 3-4 days, and I'd hit my goal. Even if I hit it on Monday, I would continue the rest of the week. But I was trying to, you know, do the most I could last year. This year I've been doing I ran appointments on Monday, And if I have a good Monday, Tuesday I'll fill out all the applications, submit all the business, and then Wednesday I'll set appointments for Thursday.
So you're just doing 2 days in the field this year?
Well, only if that's a good Monday.
If
it was a bad Monday, if it's a bad Monday, then I'll submit whatever piece of business I got on Tuesday, and I'll set appointments on Tuesday for Wednesday. That way I'll have an extra day in case I need it. So if it's a good Monday, I'll set appointments Wednesday for Thursday, and then I'm off. Friday just applications, submit them, I'm done. But if it's a bad Monday, I'll use Tuesday to set appointments so that Wednesday's a full day. And if Wednesday went bad too, then I'll set appointments Thursday for Friday. So I'll give myself an extra day if I need it. And it seems to be working out. Probably 7 times out of 10, something like that. I only need the 2 days. But sometimes you need to be out there one more day just to hit your goal.
But now last year you went in the field 3 days a week, even if you had a great Monday? Yeah.
So last year I didn't stop. I could have hit my goal by Monday, and it didn't matter. I was trying to keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm wondering if your day, like Monday to me is going to be your full appointment day because you've got 20 leads to work with to set appointments. Then when you're setting appointments on Tuesday or Wednesday for Thursday, I guess, now you're calling, as far as your fresh new leads this week, you've got fewer of them to work with because you've already burnt through however many of them, 7 or 8.
Some of them, yeah. Yep.
So you might have 10 left of those. Do you stack the whole day Thursday with appointments, or are some of those drop-bys?
No, appointments.
They're appointments.
So, I'll sit there and set appointments for the next day in the field until I've got my 7 again.
Okay.
Whether
they're
that
coming
takes
from
me
an
hour
of your
or
new ones and then your old ones?
3. Huh? Yeah, the remainder of my new ones that I had gotten the new ones from the week before that I got. And so I'll call through those again.
Okay, so are you door knocking any appointments, or do you never door knock?
I only door knock if I get no-showed. I only door knock if I got no-showed, I'll look I carry a folder. On the left side is the ones that didn't have a phone number that are sort of current, within the last month type leads. And on my right side is my appointments. And so I'll look on the left side, what's close, and I'll pull out 1 or 2. And I'll hit those right away, the closest one first. And if they're not home, I'll leave a yellow note. And, I write on the note all the information, final attempt, call me, my phone number, name. And then I'll run to the next one. And if they're home, I'll give a presentation. That has to be a quicker presentation, or not quicker, but I'll be time conscious because I don't want to be late on my next one. But if it's really good, I'm going to stay there till it's done. I heard somewhere, I don't know who said that, love who you're with.